What's going on, everybody? Mike Stadler here.
Carl Bethke with you.
Obsession Podcast. Carl.
Yes, sir.
Question for you today.
What do you got?
I've been wondering.
You have been?
Yeah, I've been wondering.
Okay. Yeah.
What's the best way to age a deer on the hoof? People have been asking me.
Are you ready? Here it goes. I'm going to show you. Yep.
That's good to me.
Best way to age a deer. I mean, okay, number one, does it matter?
Yeah, well, this I think is the biggest part of this question. People ask me this.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a 3-year-old or that's a 4-year-old. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't care.
No.
I really don't care. We stress this a lot. People get too hung up
This is going to get me cranked up.
on this age thing. I know it is. Yeah, it is what it is. It's a nice day.
It is. Yeah.
And you see it, and it's all over TV. But we're gonna let that buck go. He's only 4.5. We've been watching him for 7 years.
You know, okay. Yeah, there's a lot to that statement. Okay, look. If you want to hunt older class deer, that's great. I mean, I don't have a problem. Yeah, Mike and I want to shoot a 4-year-old or older. Trust me, we've shot a lot of 2.5 and 3.5-year-old bucks too.
Could happen again.
Oh yeah, it could.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, make sure you keep watching. Hunt's coming your way. You know, I think a lot of that where people it's a misconception about quality deer management. Okay, so if you go to quality deer management, they say now. Just so everybody's aware, quality deer management has nothing to do with the size of the buck. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. So, quality deer management. Mike, what's the definition of quality deer management?
What is it supposed to be?
Well, right.
A healthy and sustainable deer herd?
100%. That's quality deer management. Nothing else. That has nothing to do with size of the buck. Nothing. Mike, you're the big winner today. Let's see what's behind door number 2.
Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. That's how we really roll.
Yeah.
Straight up, when you see people talk about 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old deer, okay, most people in general can't distinguish between a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old, or a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old, or a 6-year-old and a 7-year-old. I can't either. A 4-year-old buck in southern Wisconsin is an absolute giant when you see him. Body-wise, he is a beast. They all got swayed backs, they all got big bellies, and they all look like linebackers during the rut. Mm-hmm. And when one walks by you, you're like, oh my God, I have to shoot that deer.
It doesn't necessarily mean he's got a giant rack.
No, we shot 4-year-olds. I've shot a 4-year-old that scores like, 92 or 93, that one. And his neck was 31.5 inches around.
They're absolute slobs of deer.
Yeah.
You know. I saw one the other night.
Oh, yeah.
And I know he's at least 4.5.
Yeah.
Just because of what I've seen. You know, the big, huge shoulders, big belly.
Yeah.
He's just a giant. You know, a younger buck. I'm going to call him a 1.5 years old.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's a 1.5 years. I didn't ID him.
Right.
But he walked up and stood next to that deer, and I'm like, wow. That is a difference right there. That's a giant deer.
Yeah.
And I would kill that deer. If he's 3.5, he's that big, I would kill that deer.
Oh yeah.
If he's 2.5 and he's that big,
I'm
gonna kill that deer.
Yeah.
Like I can't stand. We could sit here and talk about it for 15 days.
Yeah.
I can't stand the aging of deer. If that's what you want to shoot, and you think you're going to get good at that, I don't care who you are. I don't care who's out there.
Yeah.
Who's listening.
No.
Or who you tell. But the people see on TV and this and that, very hard to know for sure.
I will tell you this.
The age of these deer.
Straight up. You take a guy who hunts in Texas or southern states and you bring him up to the state of Wisconsin. Because I've done it. When I was on Mike and I were on the Summit Tree Stand staff. I had a buddy of mine. Guy's name's Keith Wilson. Great guy. And he shot some giant deer, okay? Had plenty of opportunity, shot giant deer. From Alabama area, he came up and he shot a 2.5-year-old that he thought was a 4.5-year-old deer.
Yeah, because it's here.
Because it was here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a deer's coming out with a rifle, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was like bow range. That's how big that deer was. And it's 2.5-year-old right there by the house, hunting the kill corridor. And that deer come out of that bottom, and I'm like, yeah, there's a buck coming. And I didn't even have to say anything. He swings that gun around and boom! Dropped it right there. I was like, he's like, oh, wow, I can't believe the rack, wasn't but 100 inches.
Mm-hmm.
But here the deer dressed out 187 pounds as a 2.5-year-old.
You don't see that in Texas.
No.
Or Georgia.
No. I mean, Alabama deer?
Little.
No. And this is,
we eat good up here, Carl.
We do. We have some pretty big deer. The way I look at deer nowadays is if I can give myself the time to stare at their body and actually look, if they face me directly, I can see the width more on like a 4-year-old than I can like a 3-year-old deer, and it just in his front chest. But if he turns sideways where he's broadside in Wisconsin during the rut, that deer's huge.
Yeah, they're big.
So you have to try and be able to make that decision. Hind quarters is another thing when they're, you can see their ass. That's one of the kind of ways I can kind of do it and get close. I'm not guaranteeing it, but this is how I judge deer when I'm bow hunting. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. If I'm gonna grab my bow, the decision's already been made.
Yeah.
For me, so. They don't get hung up on the aging of deer. I mean, I think you can probably get close to answer the question.
Once you get to 4 years old.
Obviously, yeah, because I mean, they start to get some more characteristics, and they look old.
Oh, yeah.
And they get bigger.
Yeah.
And, their backs drop, and their bellies drop.
Yeah.
And they're just broader, bigger.
Big, yeah.
People say, like, oh, they get gray in the front.
I've had some 3-year-olds that are pretty gray in the face.
It's hard to tell, I mean, you look at...
Well, look at Flyer, right there. Flyer's gray in the face.
Yeah, you could...
And how do you think Flyer's?
It's probably 3.5.
3.5?
You could probably look at... I know you have it, that picture of him last year where I'm holding him. Look at the size of him.
Oh, God.
Look at his neck and everything, and that's October 28.
Yeah. And big deer.
Probably 3.5-year-old. He walks by me again, I'm going to shoot him again.
Yeah.
I don't get hung up on that. I know people ask us a lot of mule deer. I have no idea.
Oh, I have no idea.
I couldn't age a mule deer for you. We've killed a lot of mule deer.
No.
Or antelope now. People, how old do you think that antelope was? I don't know. I have no idea.
Old enough.
Yeah, I do not know.
Yeah.
I'm not privy enough to that information to know how.
The only way to really age something, I think, is if you have past history with that animal.
Right.
I mean, there's been deer that you and I have watched for
sure.
years and then end up killing.
But it's still, even those deer, and I know the deer you're talking about, the deerses.
Deerses.
I know the deerses you're talking about.
Those guys.
And we had them on each property that we watched for several years, but we were still guessing.
Yeah.
Because we're like, okay, we know he's been here for 3 years.
Yep.
We know he's at least 4.5.
Yeah.
We know he's at least that. Could he be only 5.5? Could he be 7.5? Sure.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know.
Yeah. This is how much history I have with him.
Yeah, this is how much I know. And if you see some of the TV where they have super large properties and maybe they can see that deer, and I don't think you can get a deer, this is my opinion, when they're that 1.5 years old. I have a really hard time believing that same deer the next year.
No, I agree.
And you'll see people show it, and I'm like, I don't believe that unless there's some outstanding characteristic that it carries over. Otherwise, they change so drastically from 1.5 years to 2.5 most of the time that you can't know that's the same deer.
Fine example is Shocker. Shocker, when he was 3.5 years old, I know I have pictures of him. We looked at him, he's framed normal frame on him, but the one side kind of lays out really weird, and he's got a sticker that comes out of his face. The very next year, he's a almost 180 double main beam, tines everywhere, drop tine crap, and that's when I shot him.
Yep.
And we think he was 4.5.
Yep.
Just by the size of the deer.
Right. Well,
but we're not sure.
No. For 2 years here, I had a landlord.
Yeah.
Was an 8-pointer.
Yep.
With a split brow tine.
Right.
Year 3.
Yeah.
He had a third beam starter that was probably 3 inches long.
Mm-hmm.
The next year, that same beam was 1.5 foot long.
Yeah.
Still an 8-pointer with a split brow.
Yeah.
But now 160-inch 8-pointer.
Yeah.
With 1.5 foot extra beam.
Yeah.
You know, just like that.
With crap laying.
Yeah. So it's, you know, I don't know. It's
the other part about aging deer too. Everybody thinks because of the age of the deer that the rack is going to increase, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, that's all genetics of the animal.
We both got some this year that we know are older deer.
Yeah.
You know, I have 2 here.
Yep.
That are big bodied deer.
Yep.
With not humongous racks.
Mm-hmm.
Decent racks. I seen one at your house, which is a giant, one of the biggest deer I've ever seen on the hoof.
Yeah.
But he does have a really nice rack, but it's goofy.
Lucky 7.
Yeah, it's a goofy rack.
Yep.
I'll kill that deer.
And I will kill him.
Any opportunity he would give me.
Yeah. First one of us who gets a shot at him is going to kill him.
Yeah, and there's deer on the properties that are way bigger than him score-wise.
Oh, yeah.
But those are neat deer to us.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff we look for, you know.
Yeah.
Aging, we could care less. Any of you that follow us know that.
Yep.
It's don't shoot deer for the wrong reasons, because this is what that's all leading to.
Yeah.
If you're trying to impress somebody else, people don't do it. Hunt what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Trophy is whatever you take.
If you shoot any deer with a bow, it's a trophy.
It is.
You should think of that as a huge accomplishment.
Whatever that is. Could be a doe.
Yeah.
Doe aren't easy to kill.
No.
Everybody thinks that they're easy to kill.
Nope. And don't be that guy either that's going to try and age a doe for me. Because I'm going to crush you on that one. It's not a win. Here's a doe fawn.
I know doe fawn.
Here's a 1.5-year-old doe because they're like that wide.
Yeah.
And then
they're just big.
It's like, yeah. And she blows at everything, and she's gray, and she's just...
I seen a doe at your house last week, and I think that was 106 years old.
Oh, yeah.
That deer was like 400 pounds.
Yeah, that one needs...
Fattest doe I've ever seen in my life.
That one needs to die.
Yeah, I wanted a rifle right there.
I bet you that doe's 200 pounds.
Oh, God, you
got 2 of them over here, too. The same thing.
I don't doubt that a bit. And you can't kill them.
No.
You never can get to them.
No, they're smart. They, everybody else and their brother will walk right down to you.
They're not.
None of the does will be like, and just stare like a big buck.
Yeah, she was completely...
The only way you're killing that deer is with a gun.
Yep, she's completely opposite wind to me.
Yep.
Not even in the plot I'm in. And walked out and just stomped and blew for half an hour. Then I wanted to kill her.
That's something we've noticed this year, too. Yeah. Here and there.
I think that's... We've talked about those does becoming aggressive and dominant on property.
Happening. Yeah.
And they don't leave.
No.
They have no reason to
They
leave.
rule the roost.
They're not afraid of bucks, I'll tell you that.
Well, they're going to get shot with a 300 mag or a 7 mag.
That's correct, sir. Right there.
But we appreciate you guys listening. That's how we feel about aging deer and older deer. Obviously, you guys, like Mike said, if you follow us, you know how we feel about that. But it had to be brought up again because we've been asked that question multiple times. Figured we'd run through it again for you guys. If you get a chance, remember to subscribe to the channel, hit the Reaper in the lower right-hand corner. If you want to listen to us on the podcast, it's Spotify, Google, Amazon,
Apple Podcasts,
RSS,
iHeart.
Also, check us out right here with our beautiful faces on YouTube, baby. Have a good day. Oh, if you want to check us out right on Instagram, it's Rush Outdoors Wisconsin, Rush Outdoors WI, or The Obsession Podcast Hunting right here on Instagram. We appreciate each and every one of you.
Good luck out there.